You know, Alex, I walked into the shop this morning and the smell of cedar hit me so hard, I nearly forgot I had a mortgage. There's something about that first breath of sawdust in the AM that just resets the internal clock.
Is that why you're covered in shavings already? It's 8 o'clock a.m., Tiger. You look like you lost a fight with a wood chipper.
Well, I was chasing a vision, as they say. Though usually my visions involve a lot more sanding than I initially planned for. Welcome back to the den, everybody. It's Thursday, May 28th, 2026. We've got a lot to chew on today, from 3D printers that move faster than my first truck, to why your kid might want to trade a dorm room for a tool belt.
And we're also talking about the Instagram purge of 2026. If you've been shouting into the void on social media, we're going to explain why the void has started shouting back. But first, let's talk about this high-speed filament revolution. You've been tinkering with the new PETG, haven't you?
I have. And look, I'm an old school guy. I like things that take time. I like slow-cooked brisket and slow-cured finish. But this new high-speed PETG, it's like someone finally taught the tortoise how to sprint. Used to be, if you tried to push PETG too fast, the layers would they'd quit on you. They wouldn't bond. You'd end up with a structural integrity reminiscent of wet cardboard.
Which I believe was the exact description of that shatterproof bracket you printed last month.
We don't talk about the bracket incident of April that's sealed under a non-disclosure agreement with my own ego. But seriously, these new formulations, they figured out the chemistry to make the plastic flow and grab instantly. It means I can print a food-safe housing or a shop jig in 2 hours that used to take 6. It's the sweet spot. You get the toughness of the heavy-duty plastics without the headache of them warping like a Pringle in a sunbeam.
And what about the TPU? Because every time you try to print flexible stuff, I end up hearing a string of creative metaphors coming from the back room while you pull spaghetti out of the extruder.
The spaghetti is real, Alex. It haunts my dreams. But the brands like Overture and Arion, they've stiffened up the filament just enough so the gears can actually grab it and shove it through the nozzle without it kinking like a garden hose. I printed a custom grip for my favorite chisel yesterday. It's got that soft touch feel, but it didn't jam once. It's a brave new world when the machines actually do what they're told on the first try.
I'm actually more interested in this color mix thing in Prusa Slicer. It's basically an optical illusion, right? You aren't actually melting colors together like paint?
Exactly, it's pointillism for nerds. It dabs little bits of different colors in a pattern that tricks your eye into seeing a third color. It's a clever way to bypass needing 40 different spools of plastic. It's essentially the 3D printing version of faking it till you make it. And frankly, I've built a whole career on that philosophy.
Speaking of careers, let's pivot. We're seeing some wild numbers coming out this year regarding the trades. Construction Dive is saying entry-level trade wages are up 30%. 30!
It's a massive market correction, Alex. For 30 years, we told every kid in the country that if they didn't get a 4-year degree, they were going to end up dragging heavy things around in the rain for peanuts. And now, we've got a massive shortage of people who actually know how the world is put together. The college-only path is starting to look a lot less like a golden ticket and a lot more like a very expensive debt trap for some folks.
But it's not just about the money, right? You've always said that the dirty job stigma is what really holds people back.
Man, that drives me up a wall. You walk onto a modern job site today, and you'll see more tablets than hammers. You're looking at digitally integrated HVAC systems, CNC milled timber frames, and guys who have to be part engineer, part software troubleshooter, and part artist. These are high IQ jobs. If you can take a pile of raw materials and a set of blueprints and turn it into a standing structure that won't fall over when the wind whistles, that's a superpower.
And the barrier to entry is basically non-existent compared to a master's degree. You get paid to learn.
You get paid to attend the University of Getting Your Hands Dirty. And let me tell you, the graduation ceremony involves a lot fewer funny hats and a lot more bankable skills. I see these 22-year-olds becoming journeymen, making 80 grand a year with zero debt, while their peers are still trying to figure out how to pay off a degree in 14th century basket weaving. It's a beautiful thing to see the pendulum swing back.
So if you're a maker listening to this and you've been thinking of turning your side hustle into a real job, the trades might be your calling. But what if you want to stay in your own shop? What if you want to be a maker mogul? We need to talk about the 2026 algorithms because things are getting blunt.
Social media has finally grown a conscience, and it's bad news for the fakers. The zombie accounts are getting purged. If you bought 10,000 followers back in 2023 to look like a big shot, the algorithm is basically treating you like you don't exist now. It wants authenticity with a capital A.
I love that the platforms are finally penalizing the botmancers. But for a small shop owner, that feels scary. How are they supposed to compete if they only have 200 followers?
By realizing that those 200 people are human beings, not just a number on a dashboard, I'd rather have 10 followers who actually want to buy a $500 end grain cutting board than 10,000 followers who just want to watch a video of me pouring epoxy because it looks like forbidden jelly.
Forbidden jelly, I'm using that. But seriously, Tiger, you've hit a wall with this before. You tried the boost post button once and it was a disaster.
Oh, don't remind me. I spent $50 to show a video of a dovetail joint to people who apparently were mostly interested in cat grooming in another country. Total waste of a crisp bill. The trick now is targeted conversion ads. You have to find the people who value handmade goods. And more importantly, you have to tell the story.
Right, the sawdust and scars approach.
Exactly. People don't buy the object, they buy the struggle. Show the time you accidentally cut a board an inch too short and had to rethink the whole design. Show the mistake. Show the sweat. When they see the failure, the finished product suddenly has a soul. That's what sells in 2026. If it looks too perfect, people assume it came off a container ship.
I think that's a great lesson for life, honestly. If it's too perfect, it's probably a bot. Speaking of things that aren't perfect but are amazing, you saw that Firewood to Fortune project recently, right?
Man, that one spoke to my soul. This creator took a chunk of wood that most people would have thrown in the wood stove without a second thought. Just a gnarly, twisted piece of scrap. But he saw the figure inside. He turned it into this high-end art piece that sold for $5,000.
$5,000 for a piece of firewood. My brain can't wrap around that.
It's about the hidden figure, Alex. It's about looking at something ugly and knowing where to cut to find the beauty. It's a metaphor for just about everything we do in the shop. You're not just making a thing, you're revealing it.
I'm more interested in the mobile table saw stands. For those of us, meaning me, who have a one-car garage shop that is currently 90% storage and 10% workspace, those new 2026 stands are lifesavers.
They've really nailed the engineering on those. You want something that rolls like a dream, but feels like it's bolted to the bedrock once you set the locks. A wobbly table saw is a great way to lose a finger, or at the very least, ruin a $30 sheet of plywood. The new folding footprints are so small, you could hide them behind a bicycle. No excuses for a messy shop anymore.
Are you looking at me when you say that? Because I feel judged.
I'm looking at the general direction of everyone's junk corner. We all have one. It's where the offcuts go to die.
Okay, before we wrap up, we have to talk about the Gateway project, the cutting board. Is it still the king of DIY tutorials?
Always. And it should be. It's the perfect curriculum. You learn how wood moves, because if you don't respect the grain, that board will potato chip on you the first time it gets wet. You learn about food-safe finishes, which is a rabbit hole of its own. And most importantly, you learn the glue up.
Which is the most stressful 5 minutes of any maker's life.
It's a race against the clock. The glue is drying, the clamps are slipping. You realize you forgot to wipe the squeeze out on the underside. It's pure adrenaline. If you can survive a complex cutting board glue up, you can survive anything the world throws at you.
I think that's our meaningful takeaway for today. If you can survive the glue, you can survive the life.
To all the makers out there today, whether you're firing up a high-speed printer, heading out to a job site, or just trying to find the courage to cut into a nice piece of walnut, remember that the mistakes are just the rough sanding of your career. They're necessary to get to the finish.
Don't fear the zombie algorithms, and don't be afraid to be the person on the job site who actually knows how to use the high-tech tools. The world needs people who build things.
Keep your blades sharp and your spirits high. We'll see you back in the TigerDen next time.
See ya.